Review number 4. Okay, so one single one here. Well, I can get rid of dilation because the dilation is going to make it bigger or smaller. Okay, so line reflection, rotation, or translation. Well, if I make sure I got to match S up with S, this is S prime, T with T prime, and R with R prime. So I got to make sure those angles and sides all match up when I do this. All right, so it looks like if I reflect it over a line, if I reflect it, it doesn't look like it'll match up here at all, right? Translation is what? Sliding it. So there's no way I can slide it because T and S are up here and R's up here. So there's no way. The only way I'm going to be able to do it is if I turn it, AKA rotate it. Because if I rotate it, you see how S will match up with S prime, the T's will match up, and the R's. Not around a point on the triangle. You can, but usually a rotation is around any point. Most likely, all we'll do is the origin. Okay, but no, not around a point. Usually, not around a point on it. Okay, but any rotation. It was just in general any rotation. Okay, let's go, Luke. 4. What am I looking at here? Oh yeah. I don't know if you guys noticed, but 4 had a diagram with it. It was over to the right. I think this problem was pretty tough if you didn't have the diagram with it. Okay, this involves a theorem we haven't talked about in quite a while, actually since Unit 5, I believe. Okay, so here's the deal. We had between A and B is 200 miles, and between B and C was 300. What's a possible direct distance from A to C? All right, here is the theorem you need, and this goes out to everyone if you got it right or wrong. If in a triangle, if it's going to form a triangle, in a triangle, sum of two sides, anybody remember the rest? Sum of two sides greater than the third side. If it's going to form a triangle. Okay, I have to add up two sides, and it always has to be greater than the third side. All right, so before I show you the trick I showed you during this unit, let me go through each multiple choice. Well, can that side be 50? Well, that's a problem. Why is that a problem? Why can't it be 50? 200 plus 50, not greater than the third side, so it can't be 50. So let's keep moving. Can't be 50. How about 350? Well, let's see. 350. If I start adding up two sides here, will it always be greater than the third side? Looks like 350 is it, but let me go over why the other two won't work, though. Why won't 550 work? 200 plus 300? Not greater than 550. It's got to be greater than the third side, and 550 is not going to work. Obviously, 650 won't. All right, so that's why it was 350, but I showed you a little shortcut to find the values that it could be. You take the two given sides. Everyone ready? Add them up. 500, subtract them. So that third side can be anywhere between 100 and 500, but not including those. Okay, and obviously of the multiple choice, there's only one that fits in that range, and that's the 350. Okay? Sum of two sides has to be bigger than the third side. Also, while we're on this topic, so say this is 350. Everyone ready for this question? What's the smallest angle in that triangle, and why? Will? Why? In a triangle, the smallest angle is across from the smallest side, largest angle across from the largest side. Correct. All right, just another theorem we went over. Will?
What did you say about the subtracting? What did you have to subtract?
The two given sides. I add and subtract the two given sides to find the range of the third side. Good? All right, topics, questions. Last opportunity here for some of you before I see you Monday. Anything? Nothing at all? Because I have no problems letting you go and finish the review packet, go to the extra review if you want to try. I have no issues. Last, Mike.
So for this one, you just had to
I don't know what this one is.
Number 10. You just had to prove or make a drawing that there were no
Big Al?
angles. Yeah.
You had to make a diagram that had to be a parallelogram. So your angles, opposite angles should be congruent. Consecutive angles should add up to 180. And your sides, opposite sides should be congruent, but different. Because it says if ABCD is a parallelogram, then ABCD is a rectangle. So you had to show me that the angles weren't right angles. You had to show me opposite angles congruent and consecutive angles supplementary. Okay. Others? Okay, can I just have your attention for like 6 minutes here so I can go over your options for next year's math class? And how I'm probably going to base my recommendations on when we talk next Friday. Okay, we're all in Geometry AB now. You have two options next year. You have Algebra 2 AB and you have Algebra 2A. Okay, difference in the courses. Everyone took an Algebra Regents. You're going to take a Geometry 1 in June. You take an Algebra 2 Regents in June if you take Algebra 2 AB. You won't take that Regents until January of your senior year if you decide to go Algebra 2A. Why? This is a little slower pace. This course is broken up into a year and a half versus a full year. So full year Algebra 2 course, year and a half Algebra 2 course. What do we do after January? We do pre-calculus topics, all right, after January of your senior year. Algebra 2 AB, take the Regents in June. Senior year, you go to some type of pre-calc if you decide to do that, because you only need 3 credits of math, I believe. So if you don't want to, you don't have to take math your senior year, but pre-calc is available. AP Stats is available. Computer Science available as well. All right, but these are the options. This is a little slower pace right here in Algebra 2A. This is a full year course, ends in June, just like Geometry and Algebra 1 was for you. Okay, what am I going to base my recommendation on when I meet with you next Friday? Not on the midterm. I don't base it off the midterm. How well you did this year, and basically a gut feeling of where you'll succeed next year, and your work ethic. Okay, because I really believe that you lazy kids will never survive in Algebra 2 AB. Okay, I really believe that. So, is there anything I can answer about the two? And the only piece of advice I can give you is pick the course that you will have the most success in next year, not the one because of a name of it and how you're going to be viewed by your friends. Okay, pick the one you think you're going to be the most successful in next year. Okay, if you got to take it over a year and a half, you take it over a year and a half. If you take it in a full year, you take it in a full year. Okay, because I'll tell you what, these are the seniors I teach right now. There's some pretty strong math students in there. Just something happened in algebra. They tried Algebra 2 AB. It didn't work out. They tried Geometry AB. It didn't work out. So they ended up here somehow. But I got a lot of strong kids in that class. Emily's sister, one of them. All right. She's very strong. All right. So don't think, it's going to be weak. And that's not the case one bit. I got a lot of strong kids in that class. Any questions I can answer for you guys? Anything at all about the two courses? So next Friday we'll meet. I'll meet individually with you, get back your midterm, and I'll tell you what my recommendation is. You can always override it. You or your parents can always override my recommendation. If you think I made the wrong choice, that's your call. If you want to talk to me about it individually during a review session, that's fine too. Anything I can talk to you about the two classes for next year? Yes, Maggie, go ahead.
So is Algebra 2AB just like this year, kind of? Or is it going to be like?
What do you mean? Well, it's totally different
Yeah.
material. It's more along the lines of Algebra 1, just a little bit souped up.
But like kind of like this kind of pace.
Most likely, yeah. Yep. Mm-hmm. This Algebra 2A, maybe Algebra 2 AB will do Unit 1 in 7 days, but Algebra 2A takes 10, 11 days. Okay, so they stretch stuff out. All right. Anything? Cameron, go ahead.
Do you teach both
What do you mean both? The only one I teach is the seniors in Algebra 2B. No. If you want to know, Algebra 2AB is Mrs. Lynch, who's next door, and Mrs. Wise, who's 2 doors down. That's this year. It could change next year. And then Algebra 2A is, that's a good question. I know one is Miss Venezia, who's downstairs, and I have no idea who the other one is. We have so many courses here and teachers, I have no idea. All right, I know that's bad, but that could change from year to year. So, all right. Questions, comments, anything else? Good questions there. Okay. Work with other people. Make sure you're working on some type of midterm review, whether it be 1 through 7 or the extra one. And I'll be around to answer any of your questions.